Good morning. Welcome to the Community for Conscious Living weekly live broadcast. Today is Sunday, July 21st of 2024. The Community for Conscious Living is a community dedicated to personal transformation for universal harmony, healing the planet by making inspired changes in ourselves and in our daily lives that create a sustainable environment and a peaceful world. Today, our topic is about that common conundrum, free will versus divine plan. And, maybe you haven't thought about this, but I know a lot of people that come to our meditation and healing circle really have a deep desire, a deep yearning in the heart that is like a burn and yearn and flame of wanting to fulfill God's purpose for us on the planet, wanting to fulfill that inside that says, that causes us to feel like, yes, I have a path. Yes, I have a purpose. Yes, I have a mission on this planet and I want to live according to God's will for me. I don't want to just be like making stuff up willy-nilly as I go along and keep making the same old mistakes. I want to do what God wants for me to do. And so sometimes we can like go to an extreme with that and completely abdicate our free will or our own uh, action that goes along with inspiration because we're afraid to make a mistake. We're afraid to like do something from our own will instead of God's will that will somehow negate the divine plan. And so we get frozen, we get paralyzed, we don't act, right? And then we get even more frustrated and flustered and unfulfilled because we want so deeply to follow the yearning inside that will bring its fulfillment, but we're afraid of doing the wrong thing from our own will, not God's will. So we do nothing and we die on the vine, right? So today we're going to talk about those two things, how they intersect, how they come together. They're not mutually exclusive. They actually can have a beautiful relationship that guides us through our journey. And, everything, everything in your life has some purpose. It has some purpose, right? And we hear about that, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And both are true, right? And both are true. It is about the journey and it is about the destination and it's about all of it. And it's mostly about how we relate to it. So we're going to do some self-exploration today about how we're relating to the path, how we relate to the yearning, how we relate to the desire, and perhaps even get some clarity about what's moving inside of ourselves so that we can bring ourselves into a greater alignment with path, purpose, and destination, right? How we navigate our choices to align with the greater spiritual yearning and truths that we feel inside of ourselves, all while, ensuring that we are on a path toward a sustainable future because that also is not mutually exclusive, right? What's good for us in the grand scheme of things is what is good for the planet. And what is good for the planet is what is good for us, because as Muhyiddin Ibn Arabi says, we are not on the earth, we are in the earth. We are an integral part of the earth ecosystem. We cannot separate ourselves from the earth, right? This earth is a part of, this is our home. It's what sustains us. Our bodies come from the earth. Our spirits, right, inhabit these bodies and are integrated into one body, one spirit, one integrated being in this earth ecosystem, all a part of one life, one universal body, one universal soul, one life, one breath. All right, so that's our journey today. Let's go ahead and come into our meditation and healing circle. Let's come into our circle sitting side by side, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, coming together as one. Excuse me. And let's just take a full and gentle breath and feel your breath move through your body, like bring it up into your core of your body, breathing in toward your vertical core, central channel of your body. And as you exhale, drop down, really land into your body, land into your hips, land into your pelvic bowl, right? As you feel yourself land into your pelvic bowl, just lean back into your spine. And you can upright your spine, lengthen your spine, and feel your presence right in the center of your body. And bring all of your consciousness, all of your awareness to face right in front of you, bringing everything facing the same direction. Is calling out to the consciousness from within every cell of your body. Like, hey, cells, let's all face the same direction. Let's all get aligned in the same direction, on the same page, with the same purpose and mission here today. And together, let's call on our source and imagine your source right in front of you, right in front, like this, however you may imagine your source. I like to think of this big ball of pure light energy right in front of you that is just this emitting this pure divine light and this unconditional love and this eternal compassion right in front of you. Just imagine it right in front of you, and you're right in front of it, and everything that you have is facing into it. And you call on your source, right? And everything is from your source. Just call directly, speak directly. We call on you, we ask you to send your essence of your pure divine light. Just imagine, feel this pure divine light just streaming from this source right in front of you and falling into your pores in your body, right? And just with every breath as you inhale, just inhale that in through your body, through your skin, through your pores, all the way in to your core, into your vertical core of your body, letting this pure divine light just seep through everything and be absorbed into every pore. And as you exhale, just again, let yourself drop down and rest into your body and receive. Ya Nur. Nur is the name of this pure divine light. It's the divine name. Ya Nur. And Ya means oh, it's invoking. And you're calling on, oh, pure divine light. You're calling on it, you're invoking it, you're opening your being to receive and letting it fall on you, letting it absorb into your skin. And as you inhale, let that inhale draw it all the way through your tissues, through all of your being, into the core of your body. Ya Nur, oh pure divine light. And to let that come in, right? And this light is the light that streams through the top of your head, all the way through that vertical core, all the way through your throat, through your chest, through your solar plexus, through your abdomen, and all the way through your base. And it's just imagine this pillar of light, halfway front to back, halfway side to side, moving through your whole body. It's like this electricity tingling through your whole body, right through the vertical core. Remember how you inhaled all of your consciousness into that vertical core, and exhale and drop down and land into your pelvic bowl. Upright your spine, lean back into your spine, and just be a part, like be in that electrical field as that light just moves through your whole body. Let yourself be in that like you're standing in a waterfall, under that beautiful shower I talked about today before the recording started. I was talking about the shower, standing in the shower, and you've got this beautiful, pure, divine light showering over you and running through you and moving through you. And you are it, and it is you. Just let yourself be absorbed into it and feel it, sense it. Let it electrify your entire being and every cell of your body with this pure, divine light. And if you have a prayer or intention for this pure divine light as it moves through you, a prayer for awakening, a prayer for illumination, a prayer for some guidance, revelation, right? We're talking today about free will versus divine will. If you have a question around that for your own life, just bring that to your heart and let your heart feel it. Let that question be like right at the surface of your heart center. Right? Again, everything facing your source, bathing in that light, and let that light bring that illumination to that place. Let it bring that. And just let yourself receive. It might also be helpful to be in a state of witnessing, a state of inquiry. Like here you are, you're having a new experience. You've just opened a new book. You're not even sure what the title is, maybe. You don't know what's written on the page, but you're reading it through your experience of this vibration that's moving through your heart. So let yourself be a witness to it and read the book as it is written right before you and right through you. And read it with all of your senses. Right? Reading isn't always just about words you see on a page with your eyes. It's about being open to the sensations that move through your body, the feelings, the emotions, the tinglings, the what opens, what closes, what moves, how it moves, how you relate to how it moves, all of those things. Just be in the inquiry, be a witness to it, and let it be written for you. And let all of your senses be a part of the reading. Ya Nur, O pure divine light. And again, let's call on our source in the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. We call on you. We ask you to send your essence of your unconditional love. Just imagine this pure, unconditional love streaming into this space in front of you. And again, just as you inhale, draw it in through all of your pores of your body, through everything, all the way into this vertical core. This pure divine light and unconditional love moving through that electrical circuitry at the center of your body. And let yourself be standing in that shower. And with this unconditional love, just notice the condition of your heart center. Notice if your heart feels open, if your heart feels a little bit closed, if it feels guarded or protected, or however you may experience it, if you experience it at all. And you can use your tips of your fingers and do some tapping around your heart center, around your chest, and just notice if it breaks up any of the tension. And if it does, just take a big inhale and use your breath and blow it out, blow that tension out. And just notice, like, you can do some, like with your fingertips feathering down the sides of your neck. And just let that loosen up your throat space and bring that tapping down into your chest. Bring that tapping down into your chest. And again, just blow out any of that tension. Let all of that throat space and chest space just relax. And that your heart center is like a funnel of energy that extends from the front of your chest space. Just let that face toward this shower of unconditional love and let that unconditional love pour in through that funnel and stream right into the center of your heart. And you can use your breath to draw that love in through that funnel right into the depths of your heart. Right. And it's kind of like a little bit of an excavator there, right? It comes in and it can go to about a certain point, and then it hits that clutter. It hits the blocks and barriers, right? As the poet Rumi says, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. When you find those, just let that love, just let it gently seep through that space there, and take a big inhale. And as you exhale, blow out any of that clutter that's ready to release. And just let that love then seep in a little bit deeper. And again, this doesn't have to be forceful, right? You can just allow it to seep in a little deeper, go in deeper into the depths of your heart. And Take another inhale into that space, and as you exhale, blow out any more clutter that's been released, that's been broken up from that space. Blow it out. And with your inhale, with each inhale, it's like you've got this funnel coming from the front of your heart space in through your chest, and that funnel doesn't stop at your surface. It actually goes all the way through into that vertical core that we started with, right? We talked about that vertical core of that light energy that moves through the center of your body, halfway front to back and halfway side to side. So imagine this funnel in front of your heart space actually goes all the way through you and touches into that vertical core. And breathe that unconditional love in through that funnel, letting it get a little deeper and a little deeper each time with each breath. Exhaling, kind of excavating that clutter and those or boulders, as the case may be, whatever may be there, just letting that unclutter as you exhale. Next time, breathe in, take your breath a little deeper, take that unconditional love a little deeper until it reaches all the way into that vertical core and it's just flowing, pouring into your body, pouring this unconditional love through your heart all the way into this vertical core. And remember, you are inhaling all of your conscious energy into that vertical core, standing in this vibration, this energy of pure divine light and unconditional love that's pouring in, and you are standing there and you're absorbing every bit of it into every cell of your body and to every pore of your skin, just receiving and breathing it in and letting it resonate into your cells. This every cell of every fiber of your being carries consciousness. It has memory. So let that vibration of that pure divine light and unconditional love vibrate into every cell to transform the consciousness, to remind the consciousness from with every cell of your body that you are pure divine light and unconditional love. This is the core makeup of your being. Remind your cells, remind your consciousness. It will remember, it will recognize. You are made to recognize your truth. You're made to forget it, but when you see it again, you're made to recognize it. So recognize it, remember it, receive it, and return. Allow it to return you to the truth of who you are and what you are. And again, let's call on our source in the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. We call on you. We ask you to send your essence of eternal compassion. And this compassion, the compassion is the womb. It is the womb of this creation. In the step levels of creation, one of the first from the pure mind of God is like the vision and the plan for this whole thing, right? That's the step one of the step levels of creation, right? The first stage is from the pure mind of God, and that is like the plan. Everything is written in the plan. And then from there is the tablet that it's written upon. It's this multi-dimensional cosmic surface that everything is here. It's like the canvas that everything is going to play out on, but it's not a two-dimensional, it's a multi-dimensional. It's beyond the three-dimensional even. It's beyond what we know and what we can perceive, right? And that's a later step just before the actual physical manifestation of this earth realm is a step. It's governed by the divine name of Alphabet, which means constricting that which we don't need to know so that then we can have the regenerative life force within this realm. But anyway, there's, I get ahead. In this stage of the creation of the pure mind of God, it is the plan, it is the canvas upon which the plan is to be written, right? It's still being written and played out as long as we have a living consciousness, which it's all living consciousness. And then is the laws of nature that will govern everything. And then is the cosmic dust. And last week we talked about the cosmic dust. We are stardust. Everything comes from the universal plasma, the cosmic dust, that everything will be formed from, right? And then it's like that layer of this receiving, this tablet is like the universal soul. There's one universal soul, and from that one universal soul is formed, right? From the one universal soul, governed by the laws of nature, according to the laws of nature, and from the cosmic dust is formed the universal body. So there is one soul, there is one body. And those are in the very initial stages of the creation. And there is an incredible divine plan, right? We're talking about free will versus divine plan. There's an incredible divine plan that's laid out masterfully in these stages of creation. And I talked last week, after if you stayed on for the Q&A, about I'm going to be doing a workshop. I'm just going to put that in now, because if you have more questions about this and you really want to like understand it and understand the mastery of it and how it's reflected within us and how we can use it in our lives to, like, if you have that, like a purpose driven mission or a business, or especially a nonprofit, how we could like really use that to put order and to put like clarity into the plan for our lives, for our business, for our purpose, for our mission. Like all of that is so masterfully laid out. It's beautiful. But for your purpose here today, just feel that divine compassion. That divine compassion. We call on our source, we ask for that essence of that pure compassion. That compassion is the womb that contains the universal body, right? It is the womb that contains the universal body, and that is mirrored in the womb of the female mammal, right? Of the female of the species on the planet that gives birth to this regenerative life, right? When we are here in body on the planet of all of the species. That womb of compassion holds and contains everything collectively, and it's holding and containing you now individually. So as you stand in that gentle waterfall of pure divine light and unconditional love, feel yourself held in this womb of eternal compassion. And as you drop down and land into your pelvic bowl, right? Feel yourself land into your pelvic bowl, lean into your spine. Feel that womb of compassion that is holding you in a container of safety, a container of protection, a container of like, no matter what's happening for you on this earth journey, is part of the divine plan, and you are held and nurtured and you are given everything you need, right? When you are in the womb, think about this. When you are in the womb of your mother, you don't have to eat and drink. You don't have to do much of anything in there, but be in that receiving. You are held in this tight womb, this tight container, and everything that you have, that you need, is there. And you are connected through an umbilical cord that is feeding you and nourishing you. So just imagine yourself right now as you're standing in this pure divine light and absorbing in this unconditional love. Feel yourself held in this womb of compassion that is pure compassion. This is not from the humanity side, not from the human ego side of things, but from the divine creation. This is the vibration. It is the essence. You are held in this eternal compassion, and everything that you need for your survival, for your sustenance, for your provision, for your guidance, everything is available to you and being fed to you. It's being fed to you through the cosmic umbilical cord of this universal womb that is holding you and containing you. So let yourself receive. Just put yourself into a mode of receiving. Again, and just witnessing like you're watching a movie or you're reading a book and you're learning from it. As you put yourself into receiving mode and you receive what is being fed to you, this nourishment, this love, this compassion, this light, this provision, everything that you need for this divine plan is coming in for you. And let yourself be held and let yourself open to the guidance and read. Read your book, as they say. Read your book. It's all within you. And that's the beauty. Yes, you are one cell in one universal body, of which there are many, many. You are one cell in one universal body. Will receive the nourishment from this body. You know that you are held in this womb that is pure compassion. You are not separate. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. And you are completely guided and provided for it every step of the way. Feel yourself held. Feel yourself held. And take some breaths into your heart. And just if it helps, you can put your hands over your heart and take some breaths into your heart center. Just breathing that pure, unconditional love into your heart. And if you can't, just again, upright your spine, lean back into your spine and feel the breath, like your breath coming through your back body and breathing into your heart. Right, as you just lean back into that, feel the breath as it comes through the back of your heart. And just let yourself synchronize your breath with that breath that moves through the back of your heart. And just let it breathe you as you breathe with it. This is like surrendering into the divine breath, right? Just letting yourself be breathed through the back of your heart. And just see if you can really just tune in and breathe with it, like physically breathe with that breath that moves to the back of your heart. And feel that. And just let yourself rest into it and get really comfortable breathing into that space. And just let this, like a silent breath that moves through the back of your heart. Just feel it. It's kind of like as you lean into it and your breath synchronizes with it. Just let your breath kind of breathe with it. And then feel it move from the back of your heart through the space of your spine and into your vertical core. And just notice as you breathe with it, and kind of like your breath is like your will, your consciousness is meeting that breath of spirit, that breathing through you, synchronizing with it. And as it comes through this space of your spine and into this vertical core, just give it an ah. See if you want to give it a vocal ah sound and it's interesting because I know like when I do this breath, there's a point where it's like it can't make a sound, and all of a sudden it gets to a point where it has a voice, and it's not a loud voice, it's just a gentle Ah, like an right? So just play with that and feel that like place where it's kind of like where your consciousness is meeting the divine breath that's breathing through you. And let it come through when it hits that point of vocalization with an ah. I'm going to give you a minute to play with that because it's a beautiful space to play in. It's a yummyville, yummyville on the meditation space. Just feels really good to feel that breath that breathes you, meet it, and see if you can even kind of do it without agenda and just ah, ah, kind of like a long ah with the H at the end. Like an ah. And if you have that burn and yearn and spark in your heart, and there's a question there about your will, what it is that you're here to do from your efforts, from your will, from your place on this earth, just ask that this be merged at this this point of demarcation where this breath comes in through the back of your heart and moves through your chest and is given sound, right? And just let that move through you and ask that that be merged, this divine breath be merged with your consciousness that informs your will and your actions. And just ask that that be merged there and just kind of feel that breath come through, past that point, and come through with that sound, that ah. And ask to be shown, to be informed, to be guided. Be in the witnessing and read the book. Oh. And if you feel the inspiration, you have pen and paper, you can write. If there's something that's coming through, just you can start with your will for me is, or however that might come through for you. I sense your will for me is, and just let yourself write, write. Stream of consciousness without editing. I'm going to give a couple of minutes for this. And if you don't want to write, just stay in the breathing. Just let yourself fall into this breath and the sound and fall into the stream that's moving through you. The poet Rumi says these forms we seem to be, our bodies, our cups, floating in an ocean of living consciousness. Just let yourself float in this ocean of living consciousness and let it move through you. Let it move through your cup. He says, we're cups floating in an ocean of living consciousness, too near to see, though we swim in it and drink it in. He says, don't be the cup with the dry rim or one who rides all night, never realizing the horse beneath his thighs or the surge that carries him along. So let yourself rest into this surge of ocean as it carries you along. But we do get to surf. There is an action, right? Just think of, sometimes I think of Simone Biles and how incredible she is at the gift, and she has really mastered a gift in an amazing way. I mean, if you really look at the mastery that comes through her when she moves, as she moves, she's put in a lot of effort to hone that. And yet you can just feel divine source moving through her and showing its mastery, right? As she moves and flies. It's amazing. And there are many people like that. And I know you're one of them, though you may have a different craft. So we're here to not just be, yes, we are carried along, but we're here to enjoy the ride on the surfboard, or however we're choosing to move through this ocean of consciousness. We're here to enjoy the ride and participate in it and really let it fulfill us. Take the joy from it and really, express the joy, emit the joy, exude the joy, spread the joy. It's like, yes, we are here to be a part of it and to really let it spark our consciousness, to spark our joy, to spark our fulfillment and our passion. And then it's like, when that happens, it gets even bigger. But I want to say a word about that because those stages of creation, that first stage being from the pure mind of God, it's got 4 step levels of creation within that first stage of the pure mind of God. We talked about the pen, what is written, the divine plan, and the tablet, the universal soul, this multidimensional canvas that it's written upon. There are sounds that go, that are the vibration, the vocalization of the vibration that comes through. The very first sound is in the Arabic language. There's the letter Aleph, which in and of itself is a silent sound, right? It's a silent breath. But then when it comes into this realm, when it pierces the veil into this realm, it has the sound of the ah. And sometimes represented by, it's a straight line like your spine. And when it has a sound, it's given what's called a hamza, which is a circular thing over the top of it, which is kind of like your skull, which is where all of your sensory organs are. So it's like, it's like your spine with the vocal cords and the vocal organs on top of it, right? So it's given that ah, and that is like the pure mind of God, the breath, the divine plan coming in, and then the sound that follows that, that represents the universal soul, the tablet upon which it is written, is the that that almost silent H sound. Ah, that right. And both of those, the vocalization of them come from behind the heart, and then they're given breath and sound in this dimension as the pure mind of God pierces the veil. And we talk about having an aha moment, being when we get an idea, right, and an inspiration. That is that pure mind of God, divine plan coming through, piercing the veil, and being recorded into the soul, into the universal soul, into the consciousness. That's that aha moment. And those are the first two step levels of the creation in the stage of the pure mind of God. As the pure mind of God pierces the veil and becomes a part of our human consciousness from this side of the veil, right? And there's no separation between our consciousness and the divine consciousness. It's one consciousness, and it comes through as it will. And we can use our free will and our action to tap into it and say, yeah, I want to know more about it. I want to experience it, right? I want to experience it. I want to know the horse beneath my thighs and the surge that carries me along. I want to climb on the surfboard and I want to surf. I want to be like in with everything in this life that gives me joy. There was a quote that I heard yesterday. Hold on, I have to find it now. It said, success is the consistent, I had to read my writing. Success is the consistent pursuit of a worthy goal. Mistakes and setbacks are just stepping stones. Success is the consistent pursuit of a worthy goal. Mistakes and setbacks are just stepping stones. So often we hit mistakes, setbacks, and we stop. And we think, oh, well, God must not want me to do that, or these obstacles wouldn't be in my way. But the obstacles are the stepping stones. They're the things that we learn from. There's the things that we discover more about ourselves. Remember, it's not about what's in front of you. It's about how you relate to what's in front of you and what it teaches you about yourself, what it teaches you about your relationship to source, what it teaches you about true love and compassion, what it teaches you about your own resilience and your own um, uh, invincible and victorious nature, right? It teaches you about like your own sincerity, your passions, your honesty. It teaches you all kinds of things. It teaches you forgiveness. It teaches you like, uh, trust and faith. All of these things are, as we said, it's not about the journey, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. These are parts of the journey that really teach you about yourself, about who you are, about what you've got inside of you, about these divine powers. Because in the Sufi teachings, these are considered divine powers. They're the divine attributes of God: the trust, the faith, the resilience, the invincibility, the strength, the power, the forgiveness, the ability to recover, right? All of these are, and to restore, right? All of these are divine powers that we use the divine names in order to invoke these divine powers so that we can. It's not like we are commanding the powers of God, but the powers of God are a part of the life force energy that is the consciousness that breathes us, that gives us life force in our bodies. So when we're invoking them, we're saying like, hey, like highlight this inside of me so that I can become conscious of it and really get to know it and make it a part of my consciousness, so that this part of who I am becomes a living, breathing part of my consciousness that's operational on a day to day, right? Not something that's latent in my being, but let's bring it forward. let's see, it's like all of these obstacles give us that opportunity to make these parts of ourselves a part of our conscious, living, breathing being that's operational on a day to day, so that we get to experience, right? Because we're called to do things, right? That's a part of our passion and purpose. But on the doing, we're also like through the doing and the trial and error and the recoveries from the trials and errors, we're called to know ourselves as these incredible powers of source that live and breathe through us. So we're called to know them from within ourselves and our experiences. And in that knowing, we become, right? The very final step level of creation, the 28th step level of creation in the stage of the humanity, is the earth journey. It's that spiraling, circling, ever evolving earth journey of the human being. Remember, the human beings are the ones who have free will. The other parts of the creation do not have free will. They operate only by the laws of nature that are established right after, from the plan, the pen to the tablet, that where the canvas where it's recorded. The next step level of creation is the laws of nature. They are established in everything in the creation. The soil, the minerals, the plants, the animals, the clouds, the water, the earth, the trees, everything, the mountains, everything adheres to the laws of nature except for the human being, and that's our free will, right? Our free will doesn't, it's not so much about us being these free will creatures that have dominance and control over everything, right? That's from our ego interpretation. Really, free will means that we have the ability to operate outside of the laws of nature and test the boundaries, test what happens when we live in creation outside of the laws of nature. And we're seeing it, right? And we recognize that part of ourselves when we are operating outside of the laws of nature. It feels like this yearning inside of ourselves to return. That is a compass, a guidepost that draws you back to live within the laws of nature, right? And if we follow that within ourselves, or we want to come back and live within the laws of nature, within the guidelines of the natural laws that were established at the very beginning of this experiment here, then it's like that's what can bring the entire thing back into harmony. That's what brings us back into harmony with everything else that has no choice but to live by the laws of nature. But in doing so for the humanity, it is a cycle. It's a circling, spiraling journey. And the divine power that is associated with that, the divine name, is Arafi Adarashat, which means the elevation of degrees. So the more as we cycle and cycle and cycle through that earth journey, we're spiraling through and we're being elevated, if you will, at each time where we hit another stumbling block, and we learn from it and we awaken that divine power from within us to be an integral part of who we are, right? On a conscious level, it's already there, but we bring it through so it becomes a part of the consciousness. We can live it, we can breathe it, we can be it, and it can be us. And we elevate to be a clearer and clearer representative of spirit in human form as we walk this earth, becoming purer and purer, clearer and clearer, more and more representative of spirit. And that's the earth cycle, that's the earth journey. And I will say, on these stages of creation, if you've ever, like I've been in nonprofits, working in nonprofits for the last 25 years. And when you look at how nonprofits are structured, or any kind of purpose and passion service business, like, oh my gosh, these stages of creation, I recognize them as like, oh, perfect for how we would want to like really fulfill a purpose and passion on the planet in a way that is divinely aligned. And that's why I was like, oh my goodness, I have to bring this out. That's why I'm doing that workshop. For you, for here, for right now, to let yourself recognize whatever comes through in that aha. aha. It's the very beginning of your aha moment of, and know that through this cycle. Yes, yes, it is about, like, when you pointing over the fence, when the baseball player points over the fence and is going to hit the home run. It is about getting it over the fence, but it's about everything in between, about the perfect swing and the bat and the ball and that connection and that sight and the size of the field, everything is all a part of it. And whether you make the home run or not, everything is a useful part of your journey and a part of evolving your consciousness to become that clearer and clearer representative of spirit and form as you walk this earth in human form. So take a full and gentle breath and just let everything, this may take a while to really settle in, and things may be coming through. So keep a journal with you this week. As things come through, make note of them. Make note of them. What's coming through? What's coming through for you in terms of your purpose, your passion, your evolution, who you're becoming, what you're being provided with, how you're being guided, and what you're here to do. What is that spark inside of you calling forth from within you to become and to do? They go hand in hand. Sometimes we want to be perfected before we take an action because we don't want to make a mistake. But you can't become perfection until you make the action, make the mistake, and then learn from it and evolve. You evolve through it. And that is a part of the divine plan, right? So you have to get a little bit of that will in there when you're unsure. And that is part of the divine plan. You wouldn't have been given that will to act and to do if it were not a part of the divine plan, right? And the two go hand in hand. So when you take that action, you take that will, it may feel like a mistake, but it's actually an opportunity to evolve and to grow and to become that clearer representative of spirit and form as you take that next step. And we don't evolve without what feels like the mistakes, but they're not. They're a part of the divine plan. So give yourself lots of acceptance, lots of forgiveness, lots of compassion, right? You are within, remember that always, you are a body within a womb of compassion. The entire universal body is within the womb of eternal compassion. That's the name of the womb. It all comes from the root word from compassion. And you are always held within this womb that is providing for you, that is holding you, that is keeping you safe, contained, nurtured, and nourished. All right, so take a deep breath. Again, center yourself in the center of your body. Exhale, drop down into your pelvic bowl, anchor into your pelvic bowl, lean into your spine, and receive. Receive, receive, receive. And with that, I'm going to end the recording and open for discussion, Q&A. I'd love to hear any ahas that you received or anything that you want to share. If you're listening to the recording, you're invited to join us live on Sundays at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific Time. You can find information for joining us live at communityforconsciousliving.com, communityforconsciousliving.com. While you're there, sign up to receive the reminders and the replays. When you do, you receive 2 free gifts. One is a download one sheet. It's the 10 spiritual principles of our human existence, who we are, what we are, why we're here, what this earth journey is about. Just helps us to remember, to keep it in perspective when we start taking ourselves and taking lives a little too seriously, and it starts to get us a little bit muddled, confused, and out of whack. Brings us back to the remembrance of what we're here for and what this world's about. The other one is a 15-minute downloadable guided meditation that helps you to connect with that pure divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion that is the truth of who and what you are and what you are returning to. And I hope that those 2 things will really nourish you on a daily basis. And then once a week, you'll join us here live on Sundays. Again, I thank you for being here. Opening now for Q&A.